Hey, what's up guys? Rob here, and I'm back with another Horror Madness movie review. For the month of October, I'm going to be reviewing one horror film per day. We are now on day number 9. If you haven't seen some of my other reviews, definitely check them out. But today we're going to be talking about a film that no one ever really speaks of. It kind of flies under the radar, and it's not the most popular horror franchise. I mean, it's not as popular as like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, or Halloween, but it is one that I enjoy. And it is the 1997 American horror film Wishmaster. Directed by Robert Kurtzman, executive produced by Wes Craven, and the only film in the Wishmaster series to have his name attached. I do like this film, and I like the second one too. There are currently 4 in the series. It's got a really interesting plot. Basically, it revolves around Djinn, a wish-granting evil genie who is released from a jewel and seeks to capture the soul of the woman who discovered him, thereby opening a portal and freeing his fellow Djinn to inhabit and enslave the earth. Pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of, like Hellraiser, like who solved the puzzle box. Therefore they are bringing forth the Cenobites. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But you have Andrew Divoff, who plays Djinn, or Nathaniel Demarest, Tammy Lauren, and it features many actors from other popular horror movies: Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Candyman, Phantasm, and so on. That's pretty awesome. It was written by Peter Atkins, narrated by Angus Scrimm, the tall man himself from Phantasm. That's really cool. Music by Harry Manfredini. Very cool theme. Budget of $5 million, and it made almost $16 million at the box office. But there are a lot of cool cameos. First is, of course, the main cast, Tammy Lauren as Alexandra Amberson. You have Andrew Divoff, like I said, who plays Djinn, or Nathaniel Demarest. And he's really good as Djinn. Like, he's, when he's got the makeup on and the effects and all that, it's really cool. You got Robert Englund as Raymond Beaumont, Chris Lemmon as Nick Merritt, Wendy Benson as Shannon Amberson, Tony Crane as Josh Aikman, Jenny O'Hara as Wendy Derleth, Rico Ross as Lieutenant Nathanson, Gretchen Palmer as Arila. And the cameos, like I said, Angus Scrimm as the narrator. You got George Buck Flower as the homeless man, Ted Raimi as Ed Finney, Kane Hodder as Merritt's guard, Tony Todd as Johnny Valentine, Reggie Bannister as the pharmacist, and Gretchen Palmer as Arila. I already said Gretchen Palmer, but really, really cool. Robert Englund from Nightmare on Elm Street, of course, Kane Hodder from the Friday the 13th series, Tony Todd from Candyman, Ted Raimi's from Candyman, also Darkman, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, Rico Ross from Aliens, Joseph Pilato from Day of the Dead, Reggie Bannister from Phantasm, as well as Angus Scrimm, Jenny O'Hara from Devil, Jack Lemmon's son, Chris Lemmon from Just Before Dawn. Yeah, there's crazy cameos in this. And I guess even the demonic figure statue from the Exorcist series is also in this. It can be seen in Beaumont's collection room, displayed during the party scene, where it attacks some of the guests. And it's not really formally referenced, it's just there. That's really cool, man. Like, I guess Tom Savini also appears as a cameo as a customer in the pharmacy, which is cool too. But Peter Atkins, who was the writer, he's also known for his work in the Hellraiser films. He intentionally made some surnames of characters in the film, Beaumont, Finney, Etchinson, Clegg, and so on, to match the name of the writers of horror and fantasy fiction. which is kind of neat. But the thing is, this movie got panned by critics, and I do not understand why. They call it an extravaganza of bad special effects and worse acting. I mean, the special effects are not that bad. I don't, you know, in the later sequels they get really bad, but in this movie they're not that bad. I don't understand what movie they're watching. There are some positive reviews, and they kind of compare it to, you know, the character of Djinn itself is a combination of like Pinhead and Freddy, which I can see. But it's, you know, it's not a big blockbuster hit. It's you know, it's fairly into like a low budget flick, but it's not, you know, nothing big time. So in the beginning, the narrator explains that when God breathed life into the universe, the light gave birth to angels, the earth gave birth to man, the fire gave birth to the Djinn. And the Djinn characters kind of look like devils in a way, like demons. But they're creatures condemned to dwell in the void between the worlds. So if a person wakes up a Djinn, that person will receive 3 wishes. Okay, now the 3rd wish will free legions of Djinn on Earth. And it's cool because he goes around being like, you know, if someone wishes something, he's like, as you wish, but he always turns the wish into a negative. It's never like a positive thing. Like, there's this one scene where this guy walks in, and Djinn's standing there, and he's like, this is not something you wish to see. And then the guy's like, and he's like, as you wish. And he basically turns the guy blind. He basically, you know, takes out his eyes. Or stitches his eyes or whatever he does, like where the guy can't see, because he wishes that he wouldn't be able to see that. So it's like he's kind of like a smart ass about it, and you know he's like, haha, like the you know, I kind of like that. But in the beginning, you know, there's the, you know, the whole thing where he's trapped inside the jewel. Alex Emerson examines the jewel, which wakes up the Djinn. Alex sees something inside the jewel and leaves it with her close friend, Josh Aikman, to analyze it. He collects data, the gem explodes, destroying the lab, releasing the Djinn. Josh is killed, and upon his wish for relief from his physical pain. And from there, it just becomes like, you know, the Djinn grants wishes to exchange souls. But like I said, the wishes are granted in a way that makes them have undesirable results, you know, upon the wisher. Like I said, you know, you wish, if you're wishing for something and it seems positive to you, he's going to turn it into something negative, which, like I said, I'd like that. But Alex learns that the Djinn needs to power the gem with human souls and then grant her 3 wishes before he can open the gateway to release the Djinn on Earth. And like I said, it's the 3rd wish. The 3rd wish is when he's able to do that. But the Djinn can take the form of a dead man, and he uses the name Nathaniel Demarest, which is basically, you know, it's all that, you know, it's basically Andrew Divoff without the makeup on, and he still looks like Djinn. Like, you know, he's got that chin. Andrew, he's got that I call it like the John Travolta chin. You know, he's got that little pinch on his chin there, and it just, I don't know, it's very different from like other actors, but he's just got that significant look to him. And when he's Nathaniel, he's just Andrew. And then when he's the Djinn, you could still see that on his chin, and it's like he doesn't even need to wear makeup to know that, okay, that's Djinn from Wishmaster. You know, that's who he is. You know, it's really easy to tell. But it's cool, like each of these characters, like even like the cameos, like you know, the pharmacist played by Reggie Bannister, of course, from Phantasm. You know, he's just there to pretty much die. You know, Nathaniel pretty much kills Reggie off, and you know, just a lot of the, you know, Kane Hodder plays a security guard, and you know, he ends up getting killed. It's almost like, in a way, the Djinn is fighting, you know, the other killers. Jason, Freddy. That's pretty cool. And he doesn't kill everybody, but the thing is, like, this movie opens the door, you know, it opens the door for new ideas, and I just like the whole supernatural aspect of it. I mean, we had some supernatural stuff with Candyman and Phantasm. You know, Phantasm almost had like a sci-fi thing going on with it. And you could say that this movie kind of does too, you know, because the whole beginning takes place in like the year 1127. There's like the Persian emperor. And that's not really sci-fi, but that's like you know, well, just way back then, of course, when there were sorcerers and stuff like that. But anyway, that's pretty awesome. I like this movie, and you know, when it comes to the, like I said, when it comes to the series, I prefer this one as my favorite, but I do like part 2. Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies. That's a pretty awesome one too. But anyway, guys, what do you think of Wishmaster? Let me know in the comments what you really think. And like I said, it's not as popular as some of these other movies or movie franchises, but I still think it's worth mentioning and worth watching for sure. Anyway, if I had to rate Wishmaster, this is another one. I would give this movie an 8, a solid 8 out of 10, because I did enjoy it a lot. So yeah, let me know what you think of Wishmaster down in the comments. And I thank you very much for tuning in for day 9, and next will be day 10, and we'll see what we'll review for that day. And like I said, subscribe if you have not already. Thank you very much for the comments and just all the support. It's been really hard to try to do this and balance everything else, but it's a passion of mine, so I'm not going to quit what I love doing, for sure. Alright guys, thank you for watching this. I'll see you in the next one on day 10.